Good afternoon. My name is Isaiah Walker Trammell, and today I would like to talk to you about why I believe everyone should learn CPR. Imagine you're sitting at home and someone you love collapses in front of you right now. They're not responding, they're not breathing normally. You call 911, but the ambulance is still on the way. In that moment, what would you do? Cardiac arrest can happen at home, at work, at school, or pretty much anywhere. According to the American Heart Association, about 350,000 people in the United States suffer of out-of-hospital cardiac arrest event, and about 90% of those people don't survive. The good thing is CPR is something ordinary people can learn and use before the professionals arrive. I also have training in emergency and tactical medicine, and the one thing training has taught me is knowing that being prepared before the emergency is a lot better than trying to figure it out as it happens. Because cardiac arrest can happen anywhere at any time, immediate CPR can improve a person's chance of survival. I believe everyone should learn at least the basics of CPR. Before we talk about the solution, we first need to understand how serious the problem is. First, there is a real need for people to know CPR. According to the AHA 2025 CPR fact sheet, approximately 350,000 people experience an out-of-hospital cardiac arrest event. 90% of those people's accidents result in death. Think about that for a second. Not just as numbers, but as somebody's parent, as spouses, as children, friends, coworkers, or strangers who just suddenly need help. Another important thing is where these emergencies happen. The Heart Association reports that most out-of-hospital cardiac arrest events happen in home or residences. That means the person may need someone to act that has no medical experience or background at all. It could be you. And this is where CPR becomes important. According to the Heart Association, immediate CPR can double or even triple a person's chances of survival. The problem is that people may freeze because they don't know what to do. They may be afraid because they don't want to do something wrong or hurt a person or make the situation worse. But doing nothing also costs valuable time. So the problem isn't only cardiac arrest happening, it's a problem when it happens and there's nobody around to respond. The problem's serious, but the good news is the solution does not require everyone to become a doctor, nurse, or medical professional to learn it. One option is hands-only CPR. According to the Heart Association, if you see a teen or adult suddenly collapse, hands-only CPR has two basic steps. Call 911 and push hard and fast on the center of the chest. That's it for the basic starting point. Of course, a full CPR class can teach you much more, including traditional CPR, rescue breaths, choking response, and how to use AED. The American Red Cross recommends starting CPR when someone is unresponsive or not breathing or is only gasping. When an emergency is happening, help and use an AED as soon as possible. Even learning the basics is better than having no idea at all on what to do. And learning CPR isn't only about knowing how to push on someone's chest. It's about having the confidence to recognize an emergency, call for help, and start doing something while the professionals are on the way. Now that we understand what the problem is, let's talk about the solution. Let's think about what could happen if we are prepared and what could happen if we're not. Let's visualize this. Imagine you're at home and you're with your family. Maybe you're watching TV, eating dinner, or just spending time together. Suddenly, someone in your family collapses. You check on them, realize they aren't responding, and you know something is seriously wrong. Because you learned CPR, you don't just stand there. You call 911 and you bring out an AED if one is available, and you start CPR. You may be scared, you might not feel completely confident, but you know just enough to act. Now imagine the complete opposite. The same thing happens, but nobody knows CPR. Everyone is looking around waiting for somebody else to do something. Somebody's calling 911, but nobody is helping the person while they're waiting. Those minutes matter. The Heart Association explains that immediate CPR can double or triple the chance of survival. So the difference between knowing CPR and not knowing CPR could be the difference between being able to help and simply watching an emergency happen. And a person who needs your help may not be a stranger. The Heart Association reports that a large majority of out-of-hospital cardiac arrest events happen in homes and residences, like I mentioned earlier. So there's a good chance that if you're in a situation, the person you're helping could be somebody you know. And think, that's what CPR is worth. That's why CPR is worth learning. And you don't have to be just in a position to use it every day. We hope not to use it. But you learn it because if the day ever arrives, you don't have to be completely unprepared. In conclusion, cardiac arrest affects hundreds of thousands of Americans outside of hospitals every year. And many of those emergencies happen in homes or just where no medical professionals are. But more people can be prepared to respond. Today, we talked about the need for people to know CPR, the solution of learning basic CPR, or at least hands only, and what could happen if we're prepared when something or someone needs help. The next emergency may not be a stranger. It could happen to someone sitting next to you, someone you work with, or someone you love. And when that moment comes, knowing what to do can be the difference between watching and helping. So my challenges to everyone here is simple. Take a CPR class, learn hands-on only CPR, and learn how to use this AED. Don't wait until an emergency happens to know what to do. Learn CPR now, because you never know whose life may be in your hands. Thank you.